Good morning, Booktube. My name is Grace and welcome to my new channel. I really wanted to start a new channel based on Booktube and share my love of books around, and I thought, what better time to do it now that the pandemic is keeping everyone indoors. So welcome aboard to my channel. I am a student, so bear with me. I might not have regular uploads like other booktubers online, but I will do my best. Now, just this morning I wanted to do a quick Booktube Newbie Tag, so bear with me, I have it here on my phone. So let's go through that and then we'll see how we go. Alright, first question here on the book tag is, why did I start this channel? Now, I started this channel because I've loved books since I was probably 5 years old. I started reading and I've been a book addict basically ever since. I haven't had much time to read books as I would have liked due to university and my sport and all that sort of thing. So now that I'm stuck at home with family, I thought it would be a great time to kickstart my reading again. What are some fun things you can bring to BookTube? Well, I think the main thing is my own little quirky, stupid sense of humour. I do read quite quickly, so I think I could get through a lot of books and have some fun book reviews. I'd love to have a back and forth chat with people in the comments and like a live stream maybe at some point. We'll see how we go. But I think I just really like to show my own sense of humour and my love of books with other people. Number 3, what are you most excited about for this channel? I think for me, I'm most excited about just sharing my opinions about books that I read and getting feedback from you guys and other people who are on the BookTube platform for a long time. I'd love to get some recommendations for books and have a great discussion about books that we like and books that we don't like and what authors can improve on and things like that. Alright, question number 4, why do you love reading? For me, I've always loved the fantasy kind of world. So for me, it's a lot about like discovering a new world and escaping my own life in a way. So I love like reading about characters and the fantasy world, magic systems, all that sort of thing. I am a fan of sci-fi as well. So generally, they're my 2 favorite book genres to read. So that's always really fun to look at something in the future or something in another culture out of space. Question number 5, what book series got you into reading? For me, it was probably when I was 6 or 7 years old. I started reading a lot of book series. I think for me, Famous 5 was one. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of that. It's up here on my bookshelf right there. Probably that one. It's a mystery series about 5 siblings, and they go out and they solve mysteries at their family house with their dog. So it's pretty basic, it's very kid-style writing, but it was a lot of fun for me when I was younger, and I had the movie I used to borrow from the library all the time. That was probably it for me. Treasure Island as well, I used to read that quite often, and that kind of jump-started me into books and fantasy in particular. Alright, next question. What challenges about starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest for you? For me personally, I think it's the time that I don't really have a lot of at the moment. I still have university, but it is online classes. So for me, probably prior to this, the reason I didn't start this channel earlier was because I had a lot of university commitments. Now that I'm in a family home, I might have more time to do book channel lives. I'm not very confident on camera, I don't know if you can tell. So getting myself used to talking to a camera by myself will be a really hard thing for me, but I hope I can learn quickly. Next question, when did you start reading? As I said before, it was probably around like 4, I started reading quite a little bit, and as I got older, probably 5 or 6, I used to visit the library basically every week. I would bring home at least 5 or 6 books each time, and I would read them with my mum or dad. Probably my teenage years, middle school and upward to high school and university is when I started reading more like fantasy revolving books and a lot of like new series particularly. When I was younger, I didn't read a lot of fantasy books. I read more mystery and thriller types, but as I got older, I got into things like Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, those sort of things, and series in particular. Yeah, so they're probably my reason for reading, and yeah, probably when I started reading, I would say probably 5 or 6 was when I started reading complex books more than just picture books and fairy tales, that sort of thing. Next question. Where do you read? Alright, so this one I have quite a few answers for. When I was at university, away from home, usually I would only get time to read at night time or on the way to work or on the way to my sport training. So that was probably it for me. I didn't go through a lot of books at the time, which I regret a lot. But now I'm at home, I'll basically read every chance I get, aside from doing my assignments and doing my coursework and hanging out with family. I will try to read all the time. I try to read in my room. That's where I feel really comfortable reading. Probably the lounge room as well in my family house is nice. Outside's good too. We have a nice chair outside we can read on, so that'll be really nice to read on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Alright, and the last question, number 9. What kind of books do you like to read? Now, I kind of answered this before. For me personally, I've always been a massive fan of fantasy. I've really loved the idea of escaping to a new world and getting to know all these amazing characters, and the magic system and the world building is really important to me as an aspect of books. So I would love that, like a really escapist kind of fantasy world that I could just dive into whenever my life was getting a bit tough to handle or I wanted a break. Just jump straight into this fantasy world and have a blast. I also recently, the last couple of years of my life, I read a lot of sci-fi, so a lot of science fiction books. I love the premise of going out into space, and I've always loved space, so anything that gets me into space would be an awesome read for me. I love that kind of thing. I love spaceships. I love discovering different cultures and how they interact and different aliens, all that sort of thing. So anything in that genre, really. When I was in high school, I did a lot of reading of dystopian novels, and one of my favourite series of young adult dystopian is behind me on the bookshelf, The Maze Runner. I have some of the books holding up the laptop as well. So that's been my favourite series for a long time. That really got me into dystopian and really liking that kind of thing as well. I have to be in a particular mood to read that, however. Usually they're quite sad and depressing kind of stories, so I would rather read that in between fantasy books or in between science fiction. The one genre I haven't really had much experience with is contemporary. I am trying to get better at it. I haven't read that many contemporary and particularly romance novels. I'm not a huge fan of reading romance myself, but I will try and get better as this goes on. As I said before, these are usually the type of books that go in between series or in between fantasy books in the genre, so I'm trying to get better at contemporary. I have a book I'll talk about in my next video I really want to read is a contemporary book, but at the moment it's going to be just fantasy. Alright, that's it for the book tag. Thank you very much for watching my video. Like, subscribe if you want to see more of my content. Thank you very much, and see you in my next video.